Coming right up, Straight Talk with Art Levine. Our guest tonight, Vice President and Executive Editor for the Los Angeles News Group, Michael Anastasi, as we continue our 23rd anniversary year.
Straight Talk is brought to you in part by the Port of Long Beach, a leader in international trade and environmental stewardship. And the Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years. And Scan Health Plan, for your health and independence.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. We have a great show for you tonight. Our guest for the entire show is the Vice President and Executive Editor for the Los Angeles News Group, Michael Anastasi. Michael, welcome back to Straight Talk.
Thanks, Art. Happy to be here.
You're in charge of 9 daily papers, 7 in LA County, 2 outside, 6 weeklies. Busy man.
Indeed. Very busy.
And of course, the Press Telegram here in Long Beach, as well as other papers like the Torrance Breeze, the Whittier Daily News, San Gabriel, Pasadena, and the LA Daily News. How do you coordinate all of your activities?
Well, fortunately, I have an outstanding management team that I work alongside every single day, and we have some terrific journalists. And that's what we do, journalism. That's our mission, and that's what we're dedicated to.
Well, we here in Long Beach, of course, are most familiar with the Press Telegram, and recently you started a series, and we're going to hold up the front page. Quite an ambitious reporting on unsolved murders in the county, and I'll hold up the headline, "The Trail Goes Cold." And your team spent 18 months assembling the data. Tell us about it and the origin of this project.
Sure. The origin of the project, it actually began more than 2 years ago, and that was when the mother of a victim from the Pasadena area reached out to one of our editors and told the story of her son's death. He had been brutally killed. And after a decade, the murder had not been solved. And we started thinking about this and thinking about this mother and all the mothers in our area like her, and started asking ourselves, what can we do as journalists to shine a light on this scourge of Southern California? If you kill someone in our county, the statistics show that you have a 46% chance of getting away with it.
Wow.
And that is unacceptable, and that is outrageous. And in many of our communities, the statistic is actually well over 50%. And so we set out to compile the data for unsolved homicides and homicides in general from throughout Los Angeles County.
Over a 10-year period.
Over a 10-year period. We chose the period, actually it's 11 years, we chose the period from 2000 to 2010 quite deliberately. We wanted to have a long enough time frame so that the data was current and it was robust, and we could see trends in it and gain understanding of what the numbers might tell us. Recent enough to be current, like I said, but also enough time had passed so that law enforcement had a fair chance to solve these. And what we discovered was that there was no central clearinghouse for this data. There's no single governmental agency that's charged with collecting the information. The FBI has data, the Sheriff's Department has data, and the 88 municipalities in Los Angeles County have data. And further complicating that is a number of them charge out, hire out for police services. So some cities don't have their own police force; they hire a neighboring city.
So your staff created data that did not exist anywhere before,
right?
And so, you traced 10 or 11,000 homicides,
right?
And what happened? What resulted?
The key was what we looked at as unsolved homicides, and that's what no one has done. And compiling this data was very difficult. We had to standardize it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then we started taking a look at what the numbers told us. And that's what we're writing about with this series that began on January 25th, but will continue throughout 2015.
What a wonderful service. Let me just hold up the Daily Breeze, your sister paper, the same day as the one we just showed, the Press Telegram, the same headline, the trail goes cold, but there you localize it to a particular unsolved murder in the Torrance area, as you did in the Long Beach
Right.
area in the other one. And then all the papers had a special section on the data that you put together. And as you mentioned, this is a continuing series.
Right. And the emphasis really is on the victims, the families of victims, and the devastating pain that they've endured, and the amazing things that so many of them have done as a result to try to give back to the community, to help others. It's just simply amazing. And I have to mention the law enforcement professionals that we met through the course of this reporting. The number of hours that these folks put in and the dedication to solve these cases is extraordinary.
Well, I think it's just great, and let me publicly state it, to put those kinds of resources into a series that can have this kind of positive impact eventually and hopefully on redoubling efforts to solve these unsolved cases. Let me just hold up another special section on a different subject, on the drought. And everyone's familiar with the drought, but as you know, I work with the Water Commission, and particularly pleased to see this special section, which I guess went in all of your sister papers on the drought and having a lot of useful information. So we read about cutbacks and the difficulty in your industry, in newspapers, but to take these kind of resources to create this kind of product is a real service to the respective communities that you serve.
Well, at the end of the day, that's our mission. That's what we're all about, is serving those communities. And I think it's important to note that when we use the term newspaper today, that we have, of course, a printed product, but so much of our reporting is done on various digital platforms, from tablets to websites, mobile devices, and apps. And we are on the cutting edge of all of those things. And indeed, more people consume the news through those various digital means than through the traditional printed newspaper.
And we'll be focusing on that digital product in our next segment. Stay with us.
At the Port of Long Beach, we're not only delivering jobs, smart ideas, and forward-thinking environmental initiatives. We're also delivering opportunity for all of Southern California. Oh, and a clearer horizon line. To learn more, go to POLB.com, the Port of Long Beach, thinking outside the docks.
There's a world of opportunity available through the College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach. Does your career involve legal work, law enforcement, fraud investigation, or crime scene analysis? You can increase your skill level and enhance enhance your career by enrolling in the Basic Applied Forensic Science and Crime Analysis Certificate Program. For more information, contact the College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach.
Continuing this fascinating discussion with Michael Anastasi, executive editor of the Los Angeles News Group, we were talking about digital platforms. Michael, how does your organization see the future of digital vis-a-vis print?
So our industry is in a tremendous transformation. It's nothing short of a revolution. And every day, more and more news consumers are migrating to digital devices. And of course, millions are already there. It's our responsibility to provide the news in whatever format any particular consumer wants it.
Let me just guess that the younger generation is more mobile platforms and the older folks like myself more like to read newspapers.
You could generalize that way, but the truth is that most people actually have multiple devices. And a study just came out just recently that something like the average person uses 4.5 devices, and in this case, device also meant the printed newspaper, but they're consuming news through the course of a day over 4.5 different kinds of means.
TV, phone, newspaper.
Radio, yeah. And so that means that we just can't be one thing. People live very complex lives. What they do in the morning is not what they do at noontime, is not what they do at night. And we have to make sure that we have updated, current news, relevant news about their community all through that time period, in real time, breaking news, all across the board. And that's our challenge.
And I would guess that the percentage of your company's revenue and profit year to year continues to increase in the digital as a greater percentage of the whole.
Absolutely. In fact, our particular company is enjoying pretty good success in that area and seeing double-digit growth among the leaders in our industry.
In the digital side.
In the digital side, and that's absolutely where we need to be. Our folks on the advertising side of things have done very innovative things to find solutions for advertisers. And the advertisers are seeing those results. They're investing with our company, and in turn, we're growing digitally.
And what is the future of newspapers, the print newspapers, like the Press Telegram?
Sure. Well, if we had a crystal ball, we would know. That's kind of the million-dollar question. A lot of people don't think that newspapers are going away anytime soon, and I would agree with that. We still make many millions of dollars in revenue, and not, when I say we, not just my particular company, but all newspaper companies from the printed product. There's certainly a demand there, but we're seeing that demand diminish over time. I think what you'll see is the newspapers continue to evolve to serve readership. You might see a day when there's only a Sunday newspaper and the printed product doesn't exist.
Really?
Or it exists in different form.
We might go from 7 days to just 1 day a week in the printed product.
Maybe. A lot of people think that that's a possibility. Again, these are all analysts who are looking at information, and the most important thing to remember in all of this is that no one has figured it out, because if they did, we'd all be doing it. Yeah. So there's a lot of theories, there's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of innovation. This is a time of what we call disruption, and so everyone is moving toward an answer. And I think we're getting closer and closer to the day of having that figured out. But this industry changes very, very rapidly, and it's our challenge to stay on top of it.
And I know one of your competitors, the Long Beach Register, came and sadly it went. And I know that as a newspaper person, you welcome competition and you welcome...
Absolutely.
A robust media is good for, and we've talked about this off air, keeping tabs on the political structure and keeping folks honest and tried and true. So we were sad to see them not be successful, but it did have the positive impact of catching your attention and the attention of your publisher. And I think everyone would agree that the Press Telegram is a more robust product today than it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, the Long Beach Register experiment was a very noble one, and one that we certainly respected and admired. I've been in the business a long time, and I can certainly agree with what you said, which is competition always makes for a better product. And we welcome that competition. Of course, this is one of the most competitive media markets in the country, and that made it even more so. And that added competition gave us the benefit of really accelerating our plans to improve our paper here in Long Beach, again using the term paper meaning all of our products. But and I think it also helped just our whole organization move forward rapidly, and that was very exciting. And I think I was here before and I said that the Press Telegram has been around for more than 100 years, and it's going to continue to be around for another 100.
And some folks are concerned that now that the Register is gone, we might see a slippage in the Press Telegram product, and I know your thought on that is definitely not.
Right. I mean, I think some of the work that we talked about earlier is a great example of that. The commitment that we have to very strong local and regional journalism, that hasn't waned one iota. In fact, I think we're inspired to get even better. We've made a number of substantive changes in the product over the last couple of years. Just in the last couple of months, we expanded our Sunday opinion section.
I've noticed that, and that's to be applauded mightily.
Well, thank you. And our goal there is to get more community voices engaged in the community discussion every weekend. I think that's we're the honest broker in facilitating that community discussion. People come to the Press Telegram to see it happen here. That's where really the only place where it can happen. And you know, the Register was long gone from the market when we made that improvement. So we are committed to improving not just there, but our news coverage, our sports coverage, our arts and entertainment coverage all across the board.
Well, that really is good news, because a robust newspaper is important for a city on the move. And I think Long Beach is on the move now. We have a new mayor, Mayor Garcia, a lot of exciting plans, a new city council for the most part, and having a robust newspaper to be on that ride and on that journey and encourage it, and also be a watchdog over government is a very important function.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll be back with the next segment after these messages.
How do you like your chances the rest of the way?
I got no idea. But I do know that if we stay with Naples Rib Company, at least we won't go hungry.
Coach, what do you think about some of those questionable calls tonight?
Yeah, but if you want a sound call, I'd call Naples Rib Company. You can't miss on that call.
Then Naples Rib Company is part of your game plan?
There really is nothing more motivating than a great barbecue meal at Naples Rib Company.
Victory or not, Naples Rib Company, great game plan.
Founded in 1976, Polly's Gourmet Coffee is Southern California's most complete gourmet coffee store. Polly's has the best tasting coffee, freshly roasted every day right in the store, plus a wide selection of teas, an in-house bakery, espresso bar, patio dining, and more. We also offer Wi-Fi, free internet access for all of our customers. Our nationwide clientele agree when it comes to coffee, there's only one name to remember: Polly's, 4606 East 2nd Street, welcoming you into Belmont Shore.
When I was a boy growing up in Italy, I had a dream to own my own store. I came to the United States and I worked hard as a tailor. Hi, I'm Umberto. I've been in Long Beach since 1960, carrying the finest quality men's clothing. It was a long way away, but styles are just around the corner. Umberto, 2141 Bellflower, Long Beach.
When you have enough internet speed for everyone in your home, Mom can video chat with Grandma. Your daughter can check her favorite sites. Your son can conquer the galaxy, and you'll still have enough bandwidth to conquer your first warrior pose. Get internet speed starting at 60 megabits per second with Charter Spectrum. Where will it take you?
We're back with Michael Anastasi, and in this third segment, we like to get up close and personal with our guest. Michael, you are a graduate of Long Beach State. Go Beach.
Go Beach.
Nice to see a real success as many of our graduates develop. And you've been in the newspaper business 30 years. What attracted you to the newspaper business?
I think it was the possibility of serving a community and making a difference. Some of the things we've talked about, being able to hold government accountable for their actions to the people, being able to do things like this Unsolved Homicides Project, where we're able to help the victims of heinous crime, and everything in between.
Were you on the Daily 49er while on campus here?
I was the editor of the 49er, yes.
Well, that's a big job, and so even then you knew. Michael has won many honors. He served as president of the Associated Press Sports Editors. I know you were a sports journalist for many years, and you received 28 top 10 national section website and writing awards from APSE. So you're well respected in the field and making a difference. We all want to make a difference somehow, and you have a big platform to do that in.
It's a big responsibility and one that we take very, very seriously. It's also a privilege. But what we talked about earlier, people look to the newspaper for information they can't get anywhere else. And that's a big job, and we got to make sure we're doing it right.
And there's a particular responsibility in the view of many, including myself, of newspapers and the media generally, to be a watchdog on government. I mean, freedom of the press is, as you know, enshrined in the United States Constitution. And with a vigorous free press, government's going to behave better.
That is true. We've conducted probably a dozen investigations in my time here as editor of various municipalities across Los Angeles and San Bernardino County. And when no one's watching, and that happens in many small municipalities in particular, bad things can happen.
Absolutely. And as a professor of ethics and legal studies, I can certainly vouch for that. Speak to the role of ethics and values in your business and in life generally.
It's very important to us. We have a professional standards guide that we update once a year. It's fairly long and it looks to cover all kinds of situations that we as journalists face on a day-to-day basis. It is our Bible and something that is really integral to how we conduct ourselves. And personally, that's the expectation as well. Beginning with me as the editor, but down to every single one of our employees. We need to be people of integrity and high values.
Give us a sense quickly of how you decide on which candidate to endorse in a given race.
So the opinion team, we have a team of people who work for our editorial board, and they are separate and distinct from our news gatherers. So when you read an opinion endorsing someone for some office on our opinion pages, our news gatherers don't have anything to do with that. That's how we make sure that we have unbiased coverage of the news.
Even the reporters who's covering that race, they don't weigh in.
They have absolutely nothing to do with it. Really, the only person who does transcend both of those things is me. I oversee the editorial board. I also oversee our news coverage.
And do you call in the candidates and interview them in your offices? Is that how it normally works?
Yeah, that is how it normally works. We make appointments with them.
Individually or collectively?
Usually individually. Certain times we'll do collectively if we think that engaging in a group dialogue would facilitate a better result. And we ask them tough questions. We want to know what they stand for and what they intend to do and defend their record.
Because a lot of folks do rely on the endorsement of their local paper, whether it's yours or another, in making their voting decision.
That's right. And we have doubled down really on our commitment to doing that. We've interviewed hundreds of candidates, both for the last November election and the one coming up in March.
And particularly for races that are not household words like judicial races, I think of. You don't know who these 20 or 30 judges are, and you're voting yes or no. And so you depend upon the paper in part to do the heavy lifting of the investigation, and if someone really is not qualified, to point it out.
Yeah, and if we're not doing that kind of work, then who is?
Exactly. Okay, we'll be back with the rest of our show after these messages.
Phil Trainees mixes California style with continental cuisine that includes fresh seafood from around the world. Since Phil is the chef, the menu has a wide variety of pastas, salads, soups, and appetizers that feature his unique personal touch. And the Italian-American signature dishes are simply beyond delicious. You never know who you're going to run into at Trainees, from the famous sports legends on the Wall of Fame to local celebrities having a drink at the bar. For the best fine dining experience, visit Phil Trainees.
At Performance Plus Tire, you'll find we carry Toyo tires. For over 50 years, Toyo has been a world leader in the development of high-quality tires. Optimum performance, safety, and a comfortable ride. That's what makes Toyo tires great. And now come into Performance Plus Tire for a great deal on these Toyo tires. Proxys ST, Open Country AT, and Proxys 4. Toyo tires, driven to perform. Come in today and we'll install new Toyo tires on your vehicle while you wait. Performance Plus Tire on Cherry Avenue, 1 mile north of the 405 in Long Beach.
There's a world of opportunity available through the College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach. Would you like to move ahead in the field of human resources and personnel management? Sign up for the Human Resources Management Certificate Program. You'll learn how to expand your knowledge and skills and advance in this dynamic industry. For more information, contact the College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach.
You've been planning this moment for a long time. It couldn't be a more perfect moment. And you have the perfect ring that will tell her, I want to love you forever. But nothing is perfect.
Don't listen to that guy. He got the ring at McCarty's.
McCarty's makes a moment.
I think it's important to have a robust newspaper in your community, and I think the Press Telegram certainly is to be applauded for their special work in the special sections that we talked about earlier, and their commitment to oversight of the political process. So, Mike, thank you for the work you and your staff have been doing in bringing this robust product to Long Beach and sister cities.
Thank you very much. It's something we consider a privilege doing every day.
Well, it's nice to go to work, and I know how hard you work because you have 16, 18 papers that you're in charge of, and I just think of you racing around on the freeway and on phones and all, but it's a huge job, and but as you said, it takes good people to carry out the mission. So we certainly see the results of that here in Long Beach. And we should put a mention for the Grunion Gazette, your sister weekly paper, which really does an extraordinary job of becoming part of our community.
Absolutely. They drill down to a level that the Press Telegram often can't get to, and they have an outstanding team there, and I'm very proud of them.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you at home for being our guest. And remember, one of the secrets of happiness in life is a sense of gratitude. What are you grateful for? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week on the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everyone.
Straight Talk has been brought to you by the Port of Long Beach, the Press Telegram, and Scan Health Plan. And remember, Straight Talk is viewable 24/7 at straighttalktv.com.